Hi, today we're here with,
Al Hessling.
and today we're going to be asking him some questions. Are you ready for this?
I hope so.
What are your thoughts on the current administration in the White House?
I think the current administration is a disgrace to the United States Constitution.
All right. So, what are some of those things that you don't like that President Biden has done?
President Biden has wastefully spent trillions of dollars creating ridiculous inflation. I went to the grocery store yesterday, happened to see a bag of house brand chocolate chips, $5.59. That's a staple item. This is what ridiculous spending, limits on our oil industry, overregulation has created inflation that makes it unbearable for someone that makes even good money in a manufacturing job like me. I'm going backwards, and I live a modest life. The unchecked funding of the Ukraine war, that's obviously there's merit in helping Ukraine, but there has a lot of bad going on here. They cannot be legitimate. It's unchecked. Basically, the needless spending, restriction of our oil and gas, and restriction of our fuel supply, causing inflation. That's all I can think of right now. Give me a minute, I'll come up with a lot more.
All right. So, with Biden dropping out, Kamala Harris replaced him. So, what are your thoughts on her replacing him? Do you think she'll be easier to beat, harder to beat? Do you think it's the right thing to replace Biden with her?
Well, my first thought on that is that the Democrat Party that accuses Republicans and Donald Trump especially of being a threat to our democracy, just without having Kamala Harris's name on a single primary ballot for a single American to vote through our normal primary system for their candidate for president for their party, just anointed someone that no American voted for. So now who's the threat to democracy? As far as Kamala Harris, she's a ridiculous, terrible candidate. She was the first one to drop out on the Democrat ticket in the 2020 Democrat primaries. So her validity as a presidential candidate, in my view, is completely null and void. And how this is happening, I don't know. If I were Donald Trump, I wouldn't even debate her and recognize her as a legitimate candidate, and I would point that out.
All right. So, what are your thoughts on the independent in the race, Robert Kennedy Jr.?
Robert Kennedy Jr., well, he says Democrat beginnings, obviously.
Are you giving the signs away?
Yeah. Could we do this take one, and there's here.
I'm sorry,
It's okay.
That's all right.
I realize it's an interview.
There we go.
Them are bigger than selling them, or how's that? Or them are the same?
They're the same. So, thank you, sir. Sorry for that, but
Yeah,
dedicated
that's all right.
voter just needed a Trump sign, so he's on our side.
Yes.
Where were we?
Robert Kennedy Jr.
Oh, Robert Kennedy. Robert Kennedy Jr. would be a far better choice than anyone that is or has been on the Democrat ticket. Of course, I think he's been, if anybody should have been a Democrat candidate, probably should have gone through the primary system, but they won't even let him on the ballot. Again, which side of our political spectrum is a threat to democracy? The Democrat Party kept Robert Kennedy Jr. off of their ticket, and he wanted on.
Yes. All right. So, who do you think will win the 2024 election? And do you think it will be like a landslide? Do you think it will be like a nail biter?
I believe that Donald Trump will win. I think the American people have learned what's truth, what's fiction. I think they're It's very easy to get swayed by the mainstream media. It does not tell you everything, does not tell you anything in many cases. I think the American people have wised up, because when they go to the gas pump, when they go to the grocery store, when they see what's going on, how our national debt has ballooned to 35 trillion from 21 when Biden took office, it's incomprehensible. I do think Donald Trump will win the election, but we cannot take that for granted. Everyone must get out and vote and support candidate, make your feelings known, where you stand. We can't sit back in the shadows anymore. We all have to band together and make this happen to keep America what it was meant to be by our founding fathers and the Constitution.
All right. The final question is, why do you support President Trump?
I support President Trump because he did this at great personal sacrifice. The man is an incredibly successful businessman. We can debate whether or not, his methods, how he's got there. He's a strong family man. He is the person that sacrificed himself, used his money, got the point across to the American people to elect him the first time. And if it were not for Donald Trump, this country would for sure be going down a path to a bad place with no return. I do feel that Donald Trump is the only person, there are others that have come along and jumped on board, but if it were not for Donald Trump, this country would be in a permanent, very bad place, and we would not like it.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.